Okay, so you know how this is going to go. I'm going to show you how the kitchen is going thus far. So if you remember from last week, my wife and I had spent all kinds of time smoothing out the floor so that we could put in, well, new flooring. And I'll tell you what, that was a lot of work. That was an awful lot of work. But last week we had a crew come in and install the new floor. Now, when you watch these two guys put in the floor, it's pretty darn simple, pretty darn straightforward, but I'm glad we had them do it because I am so done with this floor. But with that, let's go ahead and do the big reveal. So, here it is. Yes, I know there's no, floorboards yet or whatever, trim, but this is the new floor. Pretty sweet. Whole lot better than it was before, right? And it comes all the way in here to the main room, the family room, where the puppies are chewing on 5-hour bottles, 5-hour energy bottles. So yes, new flooring in here. Now, we only got to enjoy the new flooring in the kitchen for a few minutes because what we did was we immediately put down some rosin paper so that we can protect the floor from all the work we're about to do. And by the way, the new floor also goes into my office. So that's pretty sweet. And in fact, the floor matches the office better than the previous floor did. So that's pretty nice. So, what's next? Well, next, we're going to tear out all the drywall. Of course, we've already torn out the drywall here, but we're also going to tear it out all through here, up to here. Well, probably pretty much right up to that door there. We're going to tear out all the drywall, take out all the old insulation that's in there, replace that, and including the ceiling, we're going to take all that out, which we just repaired like 3 months ago, and put in new lights. Because right now, this is the lighting we have. We have a light there, and there, and there. And we want to make that nicer. We want to put in light cans and so on and so forth. So, that's where we are right now. Gosh, if any of you ever take a class, well, no, you know what? I'm not doing any broadcast classes during the summer. So, I don't know, maybe come back, check out the videos here in another few months and you can see a complete kitchen. I really hope so because kind of getting, I shouldn't say I'm getting tired of it because we have only just begun. I mean, just begun. We're nowhere near the halfway mark, let alone near done. So I can't say I'm getting tired of it because there's a lot of work to do, but it'll be pretty darn nice when it's all set. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and get started. And I was so excited to get things started, folks, that I forgot to turn on my lights. So give me a moment. Start to get these together. And that's good enough. We'll just leave it like that for today. Hey, hope you had a fantastic weekend and hope that everything's looking good for you as you begin your new week. We have a fairly short lecture for you folks today. So we have Adrian with us, and we have Andrea and other folks coming in, so that is fantastic. What are we talking about this week? Well, or at least this today. Short lecture today. What are we talking about today? We are, here we go, highlighter. All right. Economics of environmentalism. So, short little reading that you have if you're in my class, The Greening of Corporate America by Harvey Mayer. And what we're really talking about is, yes, the environmental movement. For most of you who are with me right now, you've grown up in a world where environmentalism was something that is a constant. We've always had environmentalism going on, and we've always tried to figure out, okay, what's the best way to balance economics with environment and so forth. But this is a relatively new thing. As we're going to see, it really caught fire back in the 70s. Before that, environment wasn't really part of the calculus. So we're going to explore that today. Like I say, relatively short. All right. So let's go ahead and start with a question, okay? And we have Jack with us now, so we can get a few folks chiming in on this question. What motivates a company to go green? Why does a company put in place environmental policies and practices? So let's go ahead and play with that. And I have a new puppy cam that we're going to go to for the question, but now that I'm talking, my puppies are on the move, so I'll see if I can track them down. So let's come into the chat. What motivates a company to go green? Let's play with that idea. With that, the puppies took off. What the hell, right? Okay, fantastic. Let's go ahead and come on over here. And we've got some great comments. We're going to go ahead and stack those up. And we've got some folks coming in to contribute. Fantastic. All right, let's read through some of these. All right. First one, public relations. Jack, you're absolutely right. There's no doubt about it. Public relations plays a big part of this. And Adrian, you kind of key in on this as well. You say it also helps draw in more customers to buy their products. Yes. You know, here's the thing is every purchase you make has an emotional aspect to it. I mean, every purchase you make. think about toothpaste, right? Why are you buying the toothpaste you do? Is it a whitening toothpaste? Is it fresh breath? Is it tartar control? Is it the taste? All these things are sort of things that you want, and you buy the toothpaste, or it could just be the cheapest one, right? You buy the toothpaste that best meets your desires and your wants. So every purchase has an emotional aspect to it. And so PR, public relations, and attracting customers, absolutely part of it. Now, Andrea says, I would like to hope they do it for the right reasons, but sometimes it just feels like the PR, like Jack says, right? The right reasons. Now, Adrian says, it helps companies be ethical. Also, have a lot of companies feel that their mission statement ties in well with the idea of bettering the planet and the people that live on it. Okay, this is a particularly good point. I mean, they're all good points. Yeah, they're all good points. But I'm going to put it, a lot of companies, and we're going to actually talk about ethics on Wednesday, include people and planet. They call it I forget how many P's, but it's profit, people, and planet, right? The 3 P's. I think there's some more P's in there as well. We're going to actually see it more on Wednesday. But yeah, planet is part of it, okay? So very good. And by the way, since we were reading each other's comments in there, I'm going to go ahead and add a couple of those. So you're not wrong. You're not wrong, but there's more to it. There's more to it. Isn't there always, right? So let's take a look at this from the reading, right? Environmental management first captured most U.S. corporations' attentions in the early 70s. Oh my gosh, it was crazy in the 60s and early 70s. We are talking about rivers being so polluted that they would catch fire. I'm not making that up. Go ahead and Google it later. I think it was in Chicago. If somebody Googles, rivers on fire, pollution, it'll show you pictures and the stories and so on and so forth. We were polluting things so much that we were you think we're destroying the environment now? It ain't nothing compared to what we were doing before. When the federal government passed a slew of new environmental laws, the new regulations weren't exactly lauded by corporate America. Lauded means celebrated, okay? In fact, many companies dragged their feet on the environmental issues, often viewing the new regulations as expensive new taxes on business, okay? So let's talk about this idea of new taxes on business, all right? It's actually what a lot of regulation and so forth is kind of accused of being. Here's the idea, is the environment belongs to everybody. The environment belongs to everybody. Everybody benefits from the environment. Everybody benefits from clean rivers, clean air, clean this, clean that, clean everything, right? Therefore, everybody should help pay to keep the environment clean. Everybody should pay, this, that, and the other, and so forth, contribute in some way or another. But companies don't want to raise taxes to take care of, not companies, the government doesn't want to raise taxes to take care of the environment. And furthermore, they still need to pay for it, right? And so what these companies are accusing the government of doing is imposing regulation that the companies need to then pay for, right? So if I have a coal plant and the government requires me to install scrubbers so that I'm not, spewing out as much toxic fumes and so forth in my coal plant, then I am paying for cleaner environment. But everybody benefits from cleaner environment. But not everybody needs to pay taxes on it because the government has just regulated me. So what companies are saying is, listen, you are by default taxing me personally, my business, for a clean environment, but you're not calling it taxes, you're calling it regulation. Okay? So that's kind of the logic behind that. Now, it's not far off, right? I mean, I'm not saying it's necessarily wrong. The government is always looking for ways to pay for things without taxing. So, oh my gosh, fees, right? All kinds of fees, all kinds of requirements. However, they kind of missed the point in this case, right? It's not just about public relations. Now, Jack and Andrea and so forth, you're right, it is public relations, but it's not just public relations, right? These efforts are not all in the service of good public relations. Evidence suggests that superior environmental performance can enhance worker productivity and product quality, and in many cases, environmentally responsible firms also boast superior financial performance. Okay. Now, why are they getting superior financial performance? We're gonna talk about this, but let's explore this. All right. So this is an article from Newsweek. Granted, it's looking at green rankings in 2017, and it looks at the top 10 companies in terms of green performance. All right. Let me show you some of these companies. All right. And let's get out of the way here. I'll come on down. Oh, let's just hide this. I can hide a stack. Wrong one. I hid the wrong stack. There it is. All right. Okay. So now we're hiding that one. Let's look at some of the companies, right? Now, Mauricio, you say tax credits. Totally. We're going to come to that. So I'll remember to mark that down. But check this out. L'Oreal, Siemens, Accenture, Cisco, Hasbro, Apple, you've heard of them. Adidas, Johnson & Johnson. Well, golly gee, these companies seem to be all right. So these are among the top 10 countries in the world, because Siemens is German and Cisco, I forget where Cisco is, L'Oreal, French. These are the top 10, among the top 10 environmentally conscious companies. And yet, well, golly gee willikers, they seem to be doing well, right? Mauricio, we're getting you in there. So let me ask you this. How can a company be doing so well when burdened by environmental regulations? Now, tax credits do count, Mauricio, especially if you're trading pollution credits and so forth. But that's not the whole picture. How can a company be doing so well when burdened by environmental regulations? So I'm going to see if I can call some puppies back, and there's my puppy cam, and we'll play with this. All right? Tell me what you think. Okay, let's come back and take a look at some of these. So we're going to go ahead and stack some of these up. We've got our first 10. We have a new contributor with Scott with us, right? A little conversation going on there. So we've got our 10. We've got our first 10. Our time stamp, you know the routine. What we want to do is after the lecture, anytime, send me an email that says 10:17. Okay, send me an email that says 10:17 and I'll take care of you. All right, let's take a look at this. Now, Mauricio points out that Apple opposes right to repair. And I agree, right to repair, if we can get right to repair taken care of, that would help the environment even more. I disagree that they hate the environment, that opposition to right to repair therefore means they hate the environment. I don't know that they're out there, killing deer whenever they see them on the road. Apple actually has a very, very good environment when it comes to their production and how they run their shops and so forth when it comes to the environment. Right to repair, though, would take it up even higher. I agree with that. So Adrian says they use it to the advantage. If market going green, why their products are better and they'll sell more, people feel like the company is doing the right thing for the customers. Absolutely, right? So you're going to market better. You're going to get customers who are more environmentally conscious and so forth. Scott brings up a key point, though. It makes these companies produce things more efficiently, which perhaps makes them more environmentally friendly. Okay, let's look at this. All right. So, remember when we talked about lean, right? When we talked about Frederick Taylor, Six Sigma, the scientific method of time and motion studies and lean production, which is all about bringing down waste, all right? Now, there's a fascinating study out there. You're welcome to later on go ahead and Google it. You can go to Subaru Zero Landfill, where Subaru, and I know this is an extraordinary claim, okay? But Subaru transformed its automotive assembly plant in Indiana to the first zero landfill factory in the U.S. Zero landfill, okay? That means that everything that Subaru uses in its factory is either used or recycled or reused, right? Zero landfill, zero, okay? Now, I'm not even zero landfill, right? Let's think about this for a moment. Why does this matter in terms of the environment? Well, of course it matters in terms of the environment. You're not wasting stuff. You're not pulling it out of the earth and then taking it and throwing it away. But now, the question wasn't how do these companies practice better environmentalism? The question was, how do they do so well financially while being environmentally conscious? Well, think about this for a moment. See that? Those are my trash bins, right? Let me tell you how the trash system works. All right? I go to the store. I purchase something. I take my money and I give it to somebody and they give me something in return. I take that thing home and I put it in my garbage. And then I roll it out to the curb and I pay the city to take it away. Now, what did I buy? Well, any packaging, right? Any packaging at all, food that you don't use because it goes bad, or your consumable materials and so forth. We purchase day after day, month after month, year after year, tons of stuff that we essentially just purchase, bring home, put in the trash, and pay the city to take away. So first of all, yeah, that's not environmentally conscious. But the thing is, it's economically nuts. Why on earth would you buy something only to then pay somebody to take it away? Makes no sense economically, and yet we live in a world in which we think that's normal. We think it's totally normal. Well, what Subaru did is they challenged that paradigm. They said, why on earth are we buying stuff and then throwing it away? So by being more efficient, yes, they're being more environmentally conscious, but what they're really doing is being more economic with scarce resources. And that's why, in many cases, regulation, in this case, forces us to kind of do what would make more sense anyway. I am not saying that about every regulation. Oh, for the love of all that's holy, I'm not saying that about every regulation at all, because there's some nuts one out there. But in this case, yeah, pretty effective. Okay. So people with money really care. You guys pointed this out. Check this out. Increasing numbers of customers are getting into the act, diligently monitoring the company's environmental actions. Many now simply expect corporations to be environmentally responsible and express that expectation with their pocketbooks. Okay? So, as a company, you're welcome to resent environmental regulation all you want. Go ahead, resent it. Resent the fact that you can't throw stuff away like you used to, stuff that you paid for, and resent the fact that your customers aren't purchasing from you because you're not following environmental expectations. But that's why we're in business, is to meet the needs of the customer. And companies don't really do well when they question the needs of the customer and tell the customer, we know better anyway, right? Although with the, iFixit, right? iFixit is a toolkit that allows you to fix your own stuff, right? This right to repair movement, that's an example of where companies are saying, we know better. That's baloney. But in this case, we're going to purchase with our pocketbooks. We're going to vote with our pocketbooks. And environmental regulation makes really good sense there. Okay? So, as I mentioned, folks, real quick, greening and taking environmental responsibility. Everybody, even our customers and suppliers, is energized by our environmental efforts, says Ray Anderson, Interface CEO, who speaks with evangelical zeal since experiencing a tearful epiphany several years ago over his company's lackluster environmental performance. There's no doubt the initiatives are giving us a competitive edge. And companies who embrace this competitive edge are going to win out. And so here's our quote. Albert Einstein, "The world as we have created it is a process of our thinking. It cannot be changed without changing our thinking." Do you really need to purchase things that you then throw away, right? We've always just kind of operated under that assumption. Is that a necessary assumption? And it kills. I just purchased this new tripod that I've been using for the puppy cam. I just had it delivered yesterday, and it came with all kinds of cool packaging, awesome packaging. Just killed me that I'm like throwing away this really expensive high-end packaging. You don't need it, folks. You don't need it. Okay. I told you it was going to be a short one today, and so it is. So, but we still got our 10, right? As a matter of fact, what did we get? Oh, heavens, maybe I'll throw in another one in there. Yeah, just for good measure, right? So be sure to get that email to me as always, I'll stick around if you have any question or follow-up. Otherwise, have a fantastic day, and we'll see you all on Wednesday. All right? Have a good one. Oh, by the way, Mauricio, most companies lie about, well, okay, Mauricio, I can't say most. I have not audited what all companies say about waste management and what they therefore do. So I don't think that it is correct to say most companies, but I am sure many companies do. It would not surprise me in the least, because they want the kudos from the customers without paying the price. But when they're outed, and that's not good PR, right? But yeah, I hear you. Okay, everyone, have a fantastic day, and we'll see you on Wednesday.